Hi, I'm Philip. Welcome to RPM Amore. I'm here with Jerry Taylor, owner of a 1990 300 ZX. Pretty highly modified car, pretty long history with the car, so we got lots to talk about today. Jerry, I'll let you tell us a little about yourself, and then we'll get into talking about the car.
Well, first off, thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure. I really enjoy your work and your backstory. So I appreciate you considering me in the car for your feature.
Well, thanks, Jerry. It's my pleasure. I saw your email address had something to do with racing, so let's hear a little about you.
I own and operate North Shore Racing. It's kind of a collection of like-minded enthusiasts. Our bread and butter is kind of like 90s import stuff, but we're known in the area for kind of appreciating anything that's cool, whether it's
Hmm.
a European car, a Japanese car, an American car, old, new.
Nice.
Um, if you like to go fast and you build a car
Yeah.
tastefully and well, it's
Yeah.
you usually kind of fit into the group of everybody.
Yeah.
Um, as a little kid, I saw 300ZX
Hmm.
in late '89 when they were new down in Florida visiting my grandmother, and I wanted one bad. We
Hmm.
when I was growing up, we didn't have much in the way of money or anything like that, so it was kind of a pipe dream. But
Hmm.
I came home, got a paper route saved up, and eventually bought one in 2000, and I still have it now, 23 years later. So
Wow.
it's kind of an OG car.
Yeah.
I'm kind of old school in the scene. I mean, I've been playing with modified imports since the '90s. So
That's
before Fast and the Furious and all that kind of stuff.
yeah.
So,
That's incredible. I mean, just the
but
the idea of buying a 300 ZX with paper route money.
yeah, well, that was the start. I mean, I got real
Yeah.
jobs after that, but I
Yeah.
came home at 9 years old and got a paper route so that I could start saving for one. So,
That's awesome. I had kind of a similar story, and I mean, it didn't ultimately lead quite the way yours did, but I fell in love first with the Supra, the Mark IV Supra, right? And
yeah,
I heard about this guy that traded up from a paperclip to a house. So I tried doing that. I'm like, I'm going to trade up to a Supra. So I got through trading a
yeah,
few items with people. Anyway, I ended up with something that nobody wanted. But it was starting in childhood too, kind of similar goal. It's really cool that you got there
that's
when you
awesome.
did, and that you've held on to the car all this time.
Yeah, I mean, so many people have, that time that I know that were into cars. Either they sold them and they moved on to something else, or they got out of cars because they had kids or this or that. But I mean, I I've been obsessed with cars since I was a little kid,
Hmm.
and you know, it was something that I wasn't going to let go of. I mean, when the wife and I had kids, we made sure that the toys weren't going to be gotten rid of, and
Hmm.
we tried to be smart about it, making sure they're paid off in advance, and we don't owe anything, so there's no reason to have to sell them, and that's allowed us to continue to modify them. And now my girls are 9 and 5, and they're both absolutely crazy about cars. They come to Cars and Coffee with me. My oldest is out here working on the car in the garage with me. So I mean
That's awesome.
that's cool because
Yeah.
not only are they going to be their toys someday, but
Yeah.
girls who are legitimate car enthusiasts and not just somebody who's leaning against the car is it's a big deal.
Hmm. Hmm. So is
So
the
I'm
S14 your
enjoying
wife's
it.
car then?
Yes, she that was her dream car. She was saving for one while she was in college
Hmm.
when we met, and I surprised her with it for her 21st birthday.
That's
It was
awesome.
bone stock, and
Wow.
she had been saving money for one, so it was cool. The money she was able to get into modifying the car and customizing it right
Right.
away.
Yeah.
Um, so she's had that since '07, so 16 years now.
Wow.
She's had that car. So I mean, we've had both these forever. We're kind of the old Nissan people in the area.
That's so cool that you've met a fellow Nissan enthusiast. I'm just gonna go back for a sec to before we get like deep into the car. Your racing, is it drag racing or autocross, or like what kind of racing do you do?
I my favorite is like road racing, like Mid Ohio, road course tracks, Laguna Seca, stuff like that. Road
Okay.
America. Before we had kids, I used to do a lot more of that, but it's not so easy now. But I mean, drag racing really isn't my cup of tea.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't. I don't hate it, but
Hmm.
for me, I love the twisties and
Hmm.
just having fun and really being able to push the car on multiple levels. I mean, it's got a handle, it's got a grip, it's got to get into the power band quickly.
Yeah.
You really have to be able to get 10 tenths out of the car.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when corners are involved, you can have fun with any level of power. Drag racing, it's,
Yeah.
the amount of thrill you get is very directly related to how much horsepower you're making.
No, I mean, I used to road race the 300 a decent amount. I mean, between my wife and I, we own like 12 cars, so we've got a bunch of
Wow.
vehicles.
Yeah.
But these are our main two. I mean, I've got everything from an old Datsun truck to an old
Mhm.
Datsun Z car, a Kaiser Henry J, some domestics. I mean, some everything.
Wow. That's awesome. So the 300ZX you got in 2000, you said,
Yes,
right?
yeah, in
Yeah.
2000, it was bone stock. I got it from the
Yeah.
original owner. It was a Florida car.
Mhm.
Only had 19,000 miles on it when I bought it.
Wow. And is it the 2+2 or like because they came in a couple different
No,
bodies,
just
didn't it? It's a strict
yeah,
two-seater. Yeah.
it's a
And
factory twin turbo car, factory
yeah.
manual trans car. So it checked all the boxes for what I was looking for.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. So what did you do with it right out of the gate? Did you start modifying it? Did you drive it stock for a long time or?
Oh no, I bought it. I bought it in the beginning of December. Brought it home, parked it, put it away for the winter, and I ordered wheels, intake, exhaust,
Oh, wow.
heater. Your
Yeah.
basic bolt-on kind of stuff. So by the time spring rolled around the following year, I was able to throw a bunch of stuff at it, and then I drove it in mild bolt-ons for about 2 years, and then decided to go wild and build the motor. And from there, it's just kind of been the never-ending pursuit of perfection, with just tweaks and little stuff here and there. As I just try and improve on everything.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious for someone who's owned the same car and had it modified for over 20 years. Are there any of your original modifications that are still on the car, or is everything pretty well changed over time?
Oh no, I mean I've got the same SSR wheels that I bought new in 2000. Um,
Wow,
the
that's
motor, when I
cool.
built the motor in 03, 04, motor hasn't been opened back up since.
Hmm.
I mean, still same piston, same internals. I mean, it's been
Mhm.
bulletproof, and I mean,
Mhm.
I have a lot of fun with it every time I drive it. So I mean, it's been unbelievably durable. Same HKS turbochargers that
Yeah.
I put on it in 2004.
So
So I
you've
mean,
basically just
it's
been
got a
growing and
lot of
building off of what you had. It's
yeah,
not like you've been stripping it
yeah,
down and starting again, going one style, another style. No. Yeah.
no, no. I've kind of
Clear
stuck
vision from the
true
start.
to
Yeah.
yeah, you
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah. That's so cool. And you're another guy that's keen on keeping that era alive, that sort of 2000s era.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
there's some everybody uses the term period correct. But I mean, there's some parts of that period that aren't correct. I mean, there was so much tacky stuff and just poorly done cars and stuff from that era. But I really try and as I mentioned in the Super Street feature, and I was recently in there.
Mhm.
It's just it's the right build from back then. So I mean, I've tried to use the best of parts, and when there isn't stuff available, we really think outside the box and fabricate our own stuff. I mean, there's a lot of one-off stuff on the car,
Hmm.
to where I'll look at it or I'll buy something. I'll be like, this is nice, but it could be better.
Mhm.
And so we try and improve upon it, and I mean, just make it the best it can be, and really kind of put my fingerprint on it.
Yeah. Yeah. You want it to feel like a piece of you, an extension of you. Like yeah.
100%,
Yeah. Yeah, for
100%.
sure. And that car is full on. It's show and go. Like you've done the interior, tasteful body modifications. But I remember reading one thing that really stood out to me from your Super Street feature too is that you really wanted to retain the original lines, the original look of the car,
Yes.
um, while still bringing in the modifications of that tuner era, like yeah, not strictly stock body, but still you look at it and you know what it is, kind of thing, right?
Right, right, 100%. Because everybody, I mean, everything comes in stages. It's been, I mean, not that I'm old, but it's been crazy to see, the fads come and go, and some things
Mhm.
come back,
Yeah.
but like, I mean, now when somebody's building one of these, the first thing they do is slap a wide body kit on it, or,
Mhm.
put bags on it, or,
Yeah.
stand wheels or whatever. And it's been crazy to see so many fads kind of come and go, and then the cars either get torn apart, or the people strip them down and then start over and this and that. It's
Mhm.
really tough. And I mean, I've been lucky, that the style that I've gone with is really aged well.
Mhm.
I mean, so many things look dated within a couple of years.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm no designer or anything, but I mean, I think, I think uh, I've chosen pretty well that the car still looks current,
Mhm.
without trying too hard.
Yeah, well, you know what? I think the one thing that will never really go out of style and isn't really a part of the fads and the phases is functional modifications, you know.
I
And I
agree.
think you've chosen things that, yeah, while there's a cosmetic element to a lot of what you've done, it appears to me anyway that everything you've done to the car is functional. You know, it's you haven't done anything that's gonna actually inhibit performance like a lot of the modifications that that come and go with the trends.
Yes, yes. No, I would agree. I mean, it's always been a piece of the puzzle towards the bigger picture with the
Mhm,
car. I mean, the seats were, weight savings, and
mhm,
you know, the arrow on the car, I gone with functional stuff.
mhm,
The brake and suspension work, and the cooling ducts underneath the car, and
mhm.
I mean, the car's down over 400 pounds from stock, but you wouldn't know it to look at it. But all the
Wow,
sound
that's
deadings
really
are,
good.
the wiring is by, aluminum components, carbon fiber components, but they're not things you see, but just in the mind of getting the most out of the car.
No, that's a considerable weight savings that you feel. You knock 100 pounds off and
Yes.
it's here or there. I mean, you might save a little time on the track, but you're not really going to feel it on the street. But 400 pounds, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So interior, then you've got the seats, and then you've done Alcantara to match.
Yep. Yeah. The trim, I've got the Sparco Torino
Mhm,
seats, which were super popular early 2000s,
mhm,
but they're extremely comfortable. They're really lightweight.
mhm.
Um, and then I've got all the trim to match. It's kind of like people call it like a Type R style. It's the red and black,
Right.
but
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of period correct kind of stuff in the car.
Mhm.
It's got a sound system in it, but the funny story with the sound system in it, my friend Ron Hulick, he owns RH Designs. He
Mhm.
kept telling me, I want to build a system for the car, and I'm like, it's not that kind of car. And he's like, oh, you go to a lot of shows. So
Yeah.
I made him the bet that if he was going to build me a system for the car, it had to be lighter than the trunk board, the spare tire, the jack, the wheel chock, everything that was coming out
Mhm.
was the only way I was going to put it in the car. It
Right.
was if it actually saved me weight.
Yeah.
And he went through a couple revisions on it, and it came back like half a pound lighter than all the stuff we took out. So
Right
not
on.
only is it like a showpiece, yeah, not only is it like a showpiece in the trunk, but it's actually lighter than all the stock junk that was in there.
That's awesome. That's something I really debate on with cars too, is because weight savings is a really important thing for me as well. But I also really enjoy music, and I really enjoy good quality
Okay.
stereo. So it's a balancing act. What do I prioritize? But that's
Yes,
pretty cool that he was able to put that setup together for you. Nice.
yeah, for sure.
So yeah, under the hood, there's obviously a lot going on. It's a built motor, twin turbo from factory, but not the original turbos. And you're up
Yep,
around 650 horse, is that right?
yep. Made 656 wheel horsepower, 682 wheel torque. Um, built motor, cryo
Mhm.
treated block, 80 over pistons, HKS turbos. Um, all your basic stuff. Fuel
Mhm.
systems reworked, cooling systems reworked.
Yeah.
Um, we went really heavy with the block work, opening up oil passages, cooling passages, and everything, just in the name of longevity, durability, and kind of worry free. And this was the first real motor that I ever put together. And I mean, we're in the 19th year now of me
Wow.
beating the heck out of the car and just walloping on it all the time. And it's it's going strong.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, and you haven't cracked it open again, you said. Um, so you did
No,
the internal work yourself or with assistance or
well, I mean, there's a machine shop that did it, and
yeah.
a buddy of mine, he showed me how to use, plastic gauge and everything for the
Mhm,
bearings, and figuring everything out with clearances and tolerances and
mhm.
all that kind of stuff. So I mean, uh, I mean, other than machine work, I mean, stuff was all done by my friends and I. So
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. What a car, eh? And then on the outside, the thing, of course, that caught my attention is that Supra wing. Now that looks to me like it's actually from a Mark IV Supra, or is it in the style of?
it's in the style of, but
Mm.
everybody always thinks that, but it's actually made by a company called Stillen out of
Oh, it's still
California.
okay.
Steve Millen used to race the IMSA
Mhm,
300ZX,
mhm.
and then he opened Stillen selling performance Z parts and all sorts of stuff. Well, I actually bought that spoiler used in 2000 or 2001,
Mhm.
but Stillen had made it in the 90s, and then they discontinued it, so I couldn't buy it new. But I remember seeing it in the Stillen ads, and I wanted one, so I tracked one down online way
Yeah.
back in the early forum days and stuff like
Mhm,
that. But I've had it on the car, and I love what it does for the lines of the car, and it's so
mhm,
unique because I mean a lot of companies, Wings West and others, make them, but they're blocky, more of like an F40 style.
mhm,
I love the fitment of it, and
mhm.
the cool thing with Stillen, with all their aero, it's all like wind tunnel tested, and functional and stuff, so
Mhm.
it works.
Right.
You know,
So there you go. I mean, that's the root of it for you. It's like you care about how the car looks, but it still has to be functional. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, no cutting corners.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So body wise, what else has been done?
It's got a Reddy Gracer front end on it. It originally had a Wings West front end on it, but I swapped to this one recently.
Hmm.
I've got the Wings West side skirts, the Wings West rear valence.
Hmm.
It's got Bomex nose panel, side mirrors, front splitters, aluminum reverse vent hood that's on it. Um, Other than that, I mean, there's some carbon fiber bits here and there, the cowling and fog light ducts and stuff. They're made by Ionic Dynamics. They do tremendous work.
Hmm.
Um, but I mean, it's lowered to a drivable ride height without being
Yeah.
too much. And I mean, the car just handles like it's on rails. It's so much fun to drive. And with
Yeah, I bet.
the ball bearing turbos, I mean, they're into the boost so quick. And we went. I worked with my buddy Tony at Broken Wrench Performance, building 2.5-inch induction piping kit. There's
Hmm.
companies that make kits. I ordered one, and I'm like, this is trash. And I'm like, we can do better than this.
Hmm.
So we built our own custom kit for it and stuff. And I mean, you know, uh, I'm at like 15 pounds of boost by like 3,200 RPMs. I'm at 200 RPMs. It doesn't rev until 7,600. So I've got a massive power band with a lot of area under the curve, and it makes it such an unbelievably fun street car because I mean, for the money I've got into this car, I could have made 1,000 wheel horsepower, but it would be a
Hmm.
highway car. It'd be a dyno queen.
Yeah.
This thing, you put your foot in it, and the power's there now.
Yeah.
And it's drivable. It's fun. It's what I wanted, and I'm so lucky to have been successful to do it right. You
Yeah,
know.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And it was essentially your first build, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um, the body panels that are original, is it original paint on them still? It was
Yes,
originally
yeah.
white, right?
Yeah, it's a factory pearl white car. So like the fenders, the doors, the quarters, the hatch, pillars, stuff like that are all factory paint.
Hmm.
Um, but then obviously everything that's been replaced has been paint matched. But
Hmm.
I've got a good friend Chris, and he's unbelievable because if you know pearl paints, especially Nissan pearl paints, you know what a nightmare it is to match them.
Hmm.
And he's
Hmm.
just been phenomenal. I mean
Yeah.
it
Oh, it
you
looks
can't tell.
seamless for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for a car that I drive that's 33
Mhm.
years old,
Yeah.
it looks all right.
Yeah. So it was low mileage when you got it. How much have you put on it in all this time?
I haven't put a ton on it. In
Yeah.
23 years, I've put about 20,000 miles on the car. Just
Really?
because yeah,
Wow.
we have so many other cars,
Yeah.
that for the most part, like now that I have multiple kids, the
Mhm.
car's two seats,
Yeah.
so it's tough a lot of times, you know, if we
Yeah.
want to go out, you know, to Cars and Coffee or go to an event or something. So,
Hmm.
um,
Was
I mean,
this ever your only car?
no, never,
No.
never.
Yeah. Okay.
I bought into
Okay.
this
That
way.
makes sense then. Yeah.
You know, it's doesn't go out in the rain. It's never seen snow or salt or anything like
Mhm.
that. You know, so I mean, it's as clean underneath as it is on the top side. I mean, the car's pretty cherry.
Yeah, that's for sure. Do you mind walking us around? Is that doable
Oh,
for
yeah,
you?
absolutely,
Thank you.
absolutely.
I mean, of course, we're gonna have the high res pictures, but I don't know. There's something to you presenting it. Love your garage setup.
Well, thank you, thank you. Um, it's kind of the place to hang out. But I mean, you can
Yeah,
see it's.
got something for the
Uh,
kids there. Right
oh
on.
yeah, there's lots of stuff. Nice, this big front mount, old school like intercooler sprayer.
Hmm.
Um, you know, you can see the SSRs. I've got the 13-inch brake kit on the front of the car.
Yeah.
Uh, the wheels are double stagger, so there's 17 front, 18 rear. It's also a 13-inch brake kit on the rear of the car. Um, see, there's that spoiler you like.
Hmm.
Uh, JDM 99 spec tail lights on it.
Yeah.
HKS exhaust. You can see looking through the interior.
Oh, you've got nitrous too, hey?
Yeah, it just sprays on the intercooler. I don't spray the motor,
Oh, okay, gotcha.
but you can see inside. I've got a Mines cluster on it. All your gauges of the era.
Hmm.
You know, lots of rare bits here and there.
Oh, and it's the Targa too,
Yeah, it's got the T top.
or T-top. Yeah.
Um, yep. So fun there. I can pop the hood for you as well if you'd
Yeah,
like.
please.
That's what everybody wants to see is
Yeah. Oh, it's all
what's
great.
under the but
Wow.
we can
Pretty cherry, as you said. That's for sure.
yeah, not too bad. Nice and simple, tidy. Simplified a lot of wiring and piping and vacuum setups and just
Yeah.
kept it clean and classy and simple.
Yeah. Those
While
cars are somewhat famous for not having a whole lot of room to work in there. How have you found it?
it's actually not too bad. I mean,
Yeah.
most of the people who are going to be the first ones to tell you the car is hard to work on or impossible to work on are
Mhm.
going to be the people who've never worked on one
Yeah.
or don't know a whole lot about cars.
Yeah.
Because they're really not a bad car to work on. And I mean, once you've had stuff apart a couple times, you get to know them inside and out. And I mean, with how long I've had this and how many of them I've owned over the years,
Mhm.
you know, you get to figure out how to work around everything.
Mhm.
And I mean, um, I can do most stuff on it and beat times and get it done pretty quickly. So
Yeah, well, there's always tricks, there's always workarounds. It's just a matter of getting to know it. And when you've had a car that long, you know it. Oh, I was curious if you had a subwoofer, actually managing to keep it below the original weight, but you said
yeah,
you
and
took the spare tire out, so
yep. So it
yeah.
actually sits in the spare tire well. The amps are reverse mounted on the backside.
Mhm.
So I can still fit the T tops in the trunk, and I have actually the same amount of trunk space as I did out of the factory.
You've taken it to quite a number of shows then?
Yeah. I've done. Well, I mean, back in the early 2000s, I did Hot Import Nights events.
Mhm.
Um, this actually won Hot Import Nights Cleveland in 2004,
Oh, did it?
um, which is crazy to think. Almost 20
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
so that was really neat, and I got to meet a lot of cool people that I still keep in touch with. Through those events,
Mhm.
like RJ DeVera from Fast and the Furious
Mhm.
fame and McGuire's and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I met him. He was there showing his Evo from Pepsi. Super, super nice guy,
Yeah.
and he's still a heavy car enthusiast to this day.
Yeah.
But
Road job wheels, that's his, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, just a lot of cool people through the years, and then Nowadays I do. I'm not sure if you're familiar with like the International Show Car Association. They do like sanctioned like high end events. They
Hmm.
do a large one here in Cleveland called the Piston Power Show.
Hmm.
Um, that's actually coming up the end of this month.
Hmm.
It's the 31st of March, 1st of April, 2nd of April.
Hmm.
Big indoor show, like 900 vehicles there.
Hmm.
Um, and I always do a North Shore Racing display there. We're going to have 6 cars this year. This one will be there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoy that kind of stuff because I enter my car and the other cars that we exhibit into the ISCA classes. So we're competing against cars that are like pushed on and off the trailer, like real show cars, like
Hmm.
art piece kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because I like the challenge.
Yeah.
Anybody can go to a cruise in at Walmart or something and do that or whatever. But I like being able to have my street car that I drive and I enjoy, and to be able to go, punch for punch with a show car at a real show, and a lot of the time end up beating them at their own game. You know.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. You start to gain a lot of sentimental value, I assume, after all this time, and
Oh
I'm sure
yeah,
you get a
yeah.
little bit nervous taking it out, but ultimately, what's the point of having it if you're not going to keep using it for its purpose, right?
Right. Last event I did was a few years ago. I did an autocross event.
Hmm.
It's got a little too much power for that, but
Hmm.
it was still fun.
Yeah.
But hopefully, as the kids get a little older, I can get back into some Mid Ohio, road racing like track days and stuff like that. But the
Yeah.
problem with those, I mean, you go down for a weekend, running on a road course, you're doing tires, you're doing brakes, you're doing all your fluids, you're doing whatever you break, and it ends up being a $7,000-8,000 weekend as you're down there racing,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
as a dad, trying to put your priorities right. That's not always the
Uh,
highest on the list.
Absolutely. No, I 100% understand. Are your kids old enough to ride in it, or are they still car
Oh yeah,
seat?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, no, I pick them up from school in it all the time, or
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
especially if the wife's going out to an event or
Yeah.
something, she'll take one of them, I'll take one of them, and
Yeah.
you know we uh, um, we try and get them involved as much as possible. I mean, the car's got, I always joke around, the car's got racing seats, it's got harnesses in it, and it's like a giant car seat. I mean,
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it really is. It's
they're,
an
they're not
adult car seat. Yeah.
they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. Oh, that's awesome. And you've already established that these cars are going to be passed down one day, hey?
Oh, for sure, for sure. I mean, I've owned this long. I'm not getting rid of it. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, if it got stolen and wrecked and burned, I'd buy back the shell and rebuild it.
Good
I
on
mean,
you. Yeah.
I've got it insured right, and
Yeah.
I would I I keep it going. And I know it's the same with my wife's car. I mean, she's had it
Yeah.
a long time, and she was saving for one when she was in college, so it's
Yeah.
not going anywhere. I mean, that car's got big turbo setup on it and everything now. Maybe someday we'll visit that car, but
Mm-hmm. Oh, I would
it's
love to. Yeah. Yeah,
it,
absolutely. I would love to have her on the website too.
it's
Yeah.
it's wild. That car rips pretty good. I mean, it's not fast like the Z, but for what
Yeah.
it is, it moves out. So
Yeah. So you said two daughters, or
yes, yep.
yeah. So have they each picked their favorite already?
Uh,
Curious.
my oldest loves my car, so she wins
Yeah.
by default, I think, because she's older than
Yeah.
I think.
That's funny.
You can't really go wrong with either one. So
No, no, not at all. Both amazing chassis, and you've put together incredible, very clean, very functional builds. They're absolutely beautiful. Yeah, yeah. Is it the same pearl white paint code for both cars?
no, hers is actually much whiter. I don't know if I
Yeah,
get out of it
it's
if
more
you
just like a
can,
true gloss white.
if you can see. Yeah, hers is pearl white, but
Okay.
it's got a blue in the pearl,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
mine is actually a
It's
gold
picking
pearl.
up a little bit here. I mean, I'm sure you'd see it a lot more in person, but yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah. Especially if you get out in the sunlight. My car's got a lot of flake and a lot of yellow in it. It
yeah.
makes it tough for pictures sometimes because with pearl
Mhm.
cars, it'll look like the bumper's one color, the fender's another color, the
Yeah.
door's another color, all based on how the sun's hitting it. Because one will have like more gold, and one will be
Mhm.
whiter or whatever. But
Mhm.
if you come and walk around the car in person, it matches to where like hers with having the blue and the pearl, you don't you don't get that. Hers
Right.
hers looks much more seamless. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Such amazing cars, Jerry. Is there anything else that you want to share that you haven't?
I mean, I just, I didn't have much growing up. I mean, we were, lower middle class, and I mean, I was buying Hot Wheels cars of this when I was a kid. You know, dreaming one day of doing it.
Mhm.
I mean, buy your kids those toy cars, encourage them to chase their dreams and build the cars they want. I mean, don't be discouraged by the dollars or what people are telling you. Go
Yeah,
out and do it.
yeah, yeah. Keep the
You know,
strong vision in mind and keep working
yeah,
toward it, and
yeah,
ultimately you'll get there. Yeah,
yeah. And when you get your hands dirty, start tearing stuff apart,
yeah.
put it back together, hope it runs. Learn how to
Mhm.
do it yourself. I couldn't have done any of this if I was paying somebody else to do all the work.
Mhm.
I can't even fathom. I know people with 100 grand in
Mhm.
cars that aren't half of either one of these because they're
Yeah,
paying shop rates and stuff, and
yeah.
just and plus there's just so much satisfaction in when somebody
Well,
comes up and they're like,
exactly.
"Who did you
Yeah,
get that? Who did that?" And I'm like, "I made that."
yeah, yeah. Even on the most boring daily driver or whatever, I find after I've started turning wrenches on it, my relationship with the vehicle totally shifts.
Absolutely.
You just feel like you're starting to become a part of it. You're starting to know its inner workings, and yeah, no, I'm with you on that one for sure. Even if you don't have the skills going into it, learn by doing, right? Learn by
Yep.
experience, and if you're afraid
Absolutely.
to break something, get a cheap car or whatever to start with, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Go hang out at the junkyard and start tearing the stuff apart there.
yeah,
I mean, you can learn on those cars for $2 to get into the junkyard.
yeah, 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 exactly. Right on, right on. Well, Jerry, it's been an absolute pleasure. I really appreciate you being on the website. I can't wait to get the feature up with all the beautiful pictures from the Super Street feature, and then we'll get the video together here for everybody to enjoy and meet you and hear all about the car. And yeah, I would love to have your wife on someday and hear more about hers.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, once again, thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity and the respect and appreciation for the car.
Absolutely,
It's special to me, and I'm glad it appeals to you as well. So
absolutely it
thank
does.
you
Yeah,
thank you once again. It's
yeah,
been a wild last couple months with Super Street
yeah.
with everything else going on. So
Yeah.
uh, means a lot. So thank you once again. I really appreciate it.
No worries. Thank you, Jerry. Take care now. Hope all's well with the family and you get lots of time to enjoy those cars.
Thanks. You too, man. Have a good night.
Okay, take care.
All right.